So today we want to talk about winterizing your home because something relevant is coming. It's November, it's December, the season's happening. And today I'm here with Jeff Owen with Preferred Real Estate Inspection. He's an expert inspector and he's going to tell us what to do. Okay, so Jeff, I heard everybody's talking about insulating your pipes. What do I do?
Great question, Minnie. I appreciate that. So there's a lot of issues to cover in preparation to prevent freezing of pipes and damage to your property. Whether they be an older home, 20, 30, 40 years ago, or more recent home, you need to look and evaluate all the potential issues that could affect your home. If you're not familiar with all these, hire a plumber. They're real good about coming out and evaluating your house and see what they can do to help you to prevent any potential issues should we have another freeze like we did in 2021. I want to start on the outside. This is your incoming water line right here. This is what you're be looking at. If you have a incoming water line that shuts off all the water to your home, this is what this would be.
Okay.
If you have an older home, sometimes they don't put this here. You'll have it at a water meter, which might be by the street. First and foremost, the best overall option to prevent pipe damage, water damage, damage to structure is to turn the water off.
Okay.
You turn the water off, and that completely prevents any water from going into the home, obviously.
Sure.
And then there's steps to go about as far as draining the water that's in the house once you shut it off.
Oh,
For
good
example,
point.
we shut this water off here. Now we still have water in the pipes in the house. Okay, so what we want to do is open up. These are called hose bibs. Open these up, open up faucets throughout the home. You're draining the water in the pipes. That way you're getting all the water out. And it's okay to leave the hose bib open. Remember, we've turned the water off, so no water is going to come out. That is the best option to prevent should you see upcoming freeze conditions. For example, of temperatures generally in the low 20s on for extended period of times. Now, typically when we have 32 degrees and it's just overnight and the sun comes out and it warms back up, you're really less likely to have any damage in those situations. Generally, the rule of thumb is when it gets down to the low 20s and below, that's when you really want to take the precautions.
That makes sense. So no water in the pipes, no pipers.
That's the best scenario. Of course, that is the
Okay.
best. Now, if you know there's going to be extended period of time and you need to live in the house, obviously, and you need to have water, then you can leave the water on, but you need to take the additional precautions. For example, you want to leave the farthest fixture from the main incoming water line, leave it to a drip. So whatever your main incoming water to the house, go to the farthest fixture in the house from that, and go ahead and leave it in a drip state.
Because I did hear some mixed recommendation in terms of do we drip the water, do we not drip the water? In this case, drip the water.
Drip the water, yeah.
Okay.
So you don't have to open up all the faucets, but just one across the other side of the house. What you're doing is, it's really not the freezing of the pipe is the problem. It's the expansion of the ice in the pipe that causes the problem.
Yes, okay.
So what you're trying to do is you're leaving the water dripping. Now, not to say it won't freeze if we get down too low in temperature for an extended period of time. You're trying to allow the relief of pressure in the pipe. So if it does freeze up, that drip will relieve some of the pressure to keep the pipe from expanding and busting once you turn it back on or once it thaws out. So be careful of that.
Now it makes sense that you explain it like that, because I was like, why do we drip water?
No, it's exactly right. It's actually the air cooling, the air that freezes the pipe, and the pipe freezes and the pipe expands. Now, to mention that, a lot of the homes are all different over the years as far as the plumbing pipe type, the water pipes that they put in the pipe. Older homes, 30, 40, 50 years, are more galvanized, and it moves to copper than possibly PVC.
Yes.
And now the most recent last 10, 15, 20 years have been what we call PEX, is that what you may have seen, the red and the blue plastic.
Yeah.
That is probably the most resistant to freezing because it allows more expansion.
Of course.
Remember, the problem is not really the freeze, it's the expansion of the pipe. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So if you don't know that, that's a perfect opportunity to have a plumber. Hey, help me out here. Tell me what I have. Tell me what I need to prevent. Now, for homes that are on pier and beam, you're more susceptible to that because remember, we're talking about cold air. And when cold air gets to those pipes, that's what starts to freeze, and then we get into the expansion. A lot of homes that I inspect in pier and beam, a lot of the plumbing water supply underneath, as well as the drains, are exposed. Okay, so that's when your first really risk or freezing and damage really occurs. And you don't want to find that out once the water comes back on and then you find out you have all these leaks because you didn't prepare.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, definitely. So a plumber is the best way to go if you're not really knowledgeable, or you don't feel comfortable with making sure you've done all the preparation. But I would definitely go this route. On the outside, as far as the hose bibs, this is a hose bib. You can take these, as you probably have seen before. These are just insulated covers.
Okay.
They fasten on the outside of that with this little tab right here. Okay, it just goes over that here, and then you put it on and tighten it up. It's super easy, and that's it. That's all you do.
Okay, and where do I get one of these?
Home Depot, Lowe's has them. They're pretty, available through all your hardware stores. Ace Hardware, they all have them available. And of course, you can always reuse it once you don't need it anymore.
Are they expensive to buy?
No, they're probably, this one here I think was only like $2.50.
Oh hell, okay.
$2.50. $2.50, yeah. So that's cheap. Pipe bust, plumber, $250 minimum to come out and repair. Minimum. That's just not necessarily counting all the property damage and all the building material damage, etc. So Definitely take those precautions. If you're not familiar with it, get with the plumber, but that's the main thrust of preventing the pipes from really freezing and causing a problem. In addition to that are the drains. So as I mentioned to you, in the drains of the pier and beam homes, you have water, what is called a P-trap. I see it all the time when I'm evaluating, inspecting homes off the ground, and I look underneath there, I can see the P-trap, which is that water holding in the trap below your sinks, your commodes, and things like that.
Okay, I was like, what is a P-trap? Is that you?
It's that,
coming down
exactly.
where the water is sitting.
Yep,
Okay,
the
got
water
it.
sits in there for a couple of reasons. It prevents that sewer gas from the sewer coming back up into the home through the fixture. Now that has water in it. We just mentioned that. The best thing to do for that is you can empty that. It's a little challenging to figure that out. A plumber can do it. But another way to do it is just what I mentioned earlier in another information I provided on the freeze protection is what is called RV antifreeze.
So I'll say something. And pro tips as a homeowner, as a real estate agent, and I'm sure you can attest to this, hire a licensed professional, you guys. Don't go to your neighbors. Don't go to your best friend who's a guy and you just feel like, oh, he can do it, right? No, get a licensed and insured plumber to do the work.
Exactly. And again, if you're not familiar with all these, that's the best course of action first. The RV antifreeze is something you can put down into the P-trap, and it's made for potable water. I mean, it's safe to use. Remember, it has to be RV antifreeze, and that'll protect the P-traps within those areas on a pier and beam foundation. Okay. So we'll also have further discussion as far as other piping throughout the house, and that's protection of that area because you are have exposed pipes elsewhere possibly. But definitely would hire a professional in the event you're not familiar with it.
Yep. Okay. Awesome. For those of you who has a backyard and has sprinkler system and irrigation, don't forget about the backflow. Jeff, tell us what we do.
So this happens a lot, and many of your viewers may have somebody or may have experienced it. This is called a backflow or high loop for your irrigation system.
Okay.
What this does is down below the ground, this water line is connected to your main water line within the house. So in the event you go out of town, you can turn the water off to the house, but it does not turn the water off to the irrigation in the event you need to continue to water your grass or your landscaping, etc. Okay, so this right here, this one and this one, these are valves. Okay, water's flowing up in here. If you wanted, in the event of a freeze, to protect this, you would turn the valves to off. Parallel to the pipe is on, perpendicular is off. Okay, now, we know we're gonna come to freeze. We wanna protect this exposure pipe. We turn the water off. This bell, we call it the bell right here, it has remaining water. It's susceptible to damage or what we call blowing off should this freeze. It'll blow off and then the water will continue to...
Because of the pressure.
Yes. So what you wanna do is make sure you turn the water off. Here, these are called bleeder valves because there's water remaining in this little section right here. You open it up with a screwdriver and water will shoot out of here and it'll empty whatever water's left in here. Okay, that is a prevention.
So what do I do with these? Like just get the screwdriver?
Yep, that's right. So this little slot right here, you'll get a screwdriver, counterclockwise, opens it up. It'll spray out any remaining water in here. And what you're trying to do is minimize this from expanding. And if this expands, this will blow off and you'll have a leak. You have a problem. It's about $250, $300 minimum for a plumber to come out here or irrigation guy to come out here and fix that. Okay.
Wow.
They also, an easier fix too, is they also make a sleeve that goes over the insulated sleeve, goes all the way over that, all the way down to the bottom.
Oh, I've seen one of those before.
It's insulated. It's very nice, and it's pretty much where you can take it off and put it back on with ease.
So with this sleeve, you can also get it from Home Depot, Ace Hardware, Lowe's.
Sometimes they do not carry those. They're usually special order. You got to go to there's easily ordered over the obviously Amazon carries them. But once you buy it and you use it for a while, you're going to turn out how easy it is. So you don't have to continue to come out here and shut these off and bleed this out. Now, if you want to take precaution and it continues to get down in the teens for any day after day after day, I would always take the precaution to empty water out, always. And then you can still use the sleeve in combination to that. That's going to help protect. Believe me, once you start having this blow off and you spend $250, $300, $10 or $15 little sleeve for this, it makes a lot of sense. So.
Oh, 100%. Okay, so we want to keep these guys warm.
Correct.
All right, so for those of us who enjoy our pools during the summer, don't neglect to winterize your pool system during the winter as well. All right, Jeff, tell us what to do.
Well, great question. For many pools that I've inspected over time, the biggest thing is we're not going to use them October, November, all the way up to possibly March or April.
Swimming in the freeze.
That's right. So don't forget about it because this is obviously the equipment and the service is very expensive when it comes time to pool. But there usually a lot of the pools have what they call anti-freeze safety devices on them where in the event it detects low temperatures. Typically it could be 42 degrees, 38 degrees. What it does, the sensor will come on and automatically turn the equipment on. Okay, so what that's going to do is turn the equipment on because the circulation of the water in the pool is what's most important. We're trying not to keep stagnant water or still water because that's where your freezing, your damage comes into. Remember when these pipes freeze, they tend to expand. And this PVC plumbing in here really doesn't like expansion of pipes. So you can cause a lot of damage and anything pool related can be expensive. So the anti-freezing sensor will come on and it'll automatically just run the pool equipment 24/7 until it determines that the outside temperature is high enough, where then it'll go back to your set cycle.
Okay.
Now, if you do not have that option on your pool, maybe you have an older pool system and you don't have that option, at that point, really what you need to do is just automatically manually turn it on yourself and let it run. Let it run, and then you're manually going to turn it off when you know that the temperature is at least 42 and up and rising. So that's a good thing. Keep the chemical in balance. All the things that you do in the summer as far as keeping the water balanced, that's what's important. A lot of times that chemical balance itself will help also protect the low temperatures and the freezing. So make sure you do that and keep that going. You don't want to obviously any growth going in the pool throughout your winter time period because you're not using it. So definitely think of that. If you don't know that you have an anti-freeze sensor on the pool equipment, get your pool company to come out and do an evaluation and help you understand what actually your pool equipment is ready for potential freeze in the event we do have another freeze.
So another pro tip would be keep your pool company's phone number handy. So get them out here, have them explain, what to do for you, and then just have their phone number handy in case if something goes wrong. Okay, so now we're inside the house, you guys. I know that there's something that we needed to do in our cabinet that's against the wall to the exterior to also help with preventing the pipe from freezing. Yeah?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And this really applies to more of the older homes. For example, you may not have the proper insulation in most of your exterior walls. You might have done some repairs in the past, which when they do repairs, they're going to pull that drywall out. They might pull insulation out to do repairs, plumbing in the wall. The older homes typically will leak more air than the newer homes. So what we're trying to focus on now is that freeze protection of the pipes. We've talked about piping protection on the outside, talked about protection of those pipes in the attic. Again, you have different types of pipes, your galvanized, your copper PVC, and your PEX. What I want to show you here is this particular cabinet is on the outside wall, and we have plumbing in the wall, obviously. Our drain pipes, our water supply pipes, our hot and cold supply. So your outside wall is going to be your coldest. So what we have here is leaving the doors open during a freeze event. What you're trying to do is we're all assuming we're turning the heat on inside the house, and with the doors open, you're circulating, you're pulling that cold air out, and you're warming it up. Okay, that is going to help that outside wall right there. Okay. And helping that outside wall stay a little warmer is going to help you. That way, you're not going in there to do anything anyway. Inside the wall, you don't know. So let's just leave the doors open. You're running the heat, let it circulate. It'll warm that cabinet. But if you keep them closed, that inside that cabinet and that wall cavity is going to be even colder. So it's okay, leave them all open if they're on the outside wall until the freeze event passes, and that'll hopefully help preserve your piping that's in the wall to keep it from freezing up and busting.
So basically you want to turn the heater on to keep yourself and the pipe warm. Okay?
Very true, very true.
So a lot of folks don't know as far as freeze protection, preparation for freeze protection, you're not very familiar with what's in your attic. Not too many people go up in your attic either ever, or may go up there periodically to do some things as far as maintenance, but they're not looking around to see as far as their plumbing pipes. So we talked about plumbing pipes on the outside, we've talked plumbing pipes on the exterior walls underneath cabinets, but now we're in the attic, okay? So cool air freezes the pipes expand, okay? We don't know if all your plumbing pipes either are below insulation or what we call pipe wrap. You don't know, so take that opportunity to go explore. You don't have to walk through all the attic. You can see from a safe distance. If you don't know, have a plumber go up and evaluate it. So what I'm looking for is plumbing pipe type, and if they're located below the insulation, or they're located above the insulation. If they're above the insulation and they don't have the pipe wrap on them, you need to add the pipe wrap, or they need to be placed below the insulation. Okay, so what that's going to do is the temperatures up here could be very, very cold, obviously, because it's not being protected, and that's what freezes, and it may freeze in a place you can't see or get to, and that's where your problems start to happen. Okay, so the best thing to do is do an evaluation of your attic to see what your plumbing pipes are, and also if they're above or below the insulation, or if they're in pipe wrap. And I highly, highly recommend to do those preparations. This pipe wrap's about $2. Okay, there's this little section right here, so it's pretty cheap. It's real easy to apply. You pull it apart.
Okay.
The pipe is wrapped inside. This little plastic right here comes off, and it seals itself. It seals itself right just like that. Now, if it gets extremely, extremely low temperatures, it may not protect your pipes, but more than likely it will, because we're not really down here in Houston. We're not really get these long-term freezes at low temperature. But most of the problems we had during 2021 was those exposed pipes. If you have any exposed pipes, you're putting yourself in a position potentially have problems should there be another freeze. Have a plumber come up. I don't recommend exploring through the attic yourself, because there are dangers and safety issues within the attic. Have a plumber come up, and that way they can do an evaluation all the way through their attic. They are proficient and experienced as far as how to get to those particular areas Let them either place the water supply pipe underneath the insulation or let them add the insulation. And once you do it, you're done.
Because the last thing you want to do is injure yourself or fall through the ceiling.
Yeah, you cost yourself hundreds of dollars because you could have let somebody else do it. But once you do it, once you're done, you never have to do it again. So that's the important key. But have a pipe burst and have the damage that potentially can cause the cleanup and the people coming by to repair.
Yeah.
It's in the thousands typically. Yeah.
So the key here is to be proactive and be preventative versus, you know, repairing and trying to fix all the problem later, because it's just going to be more costly.
Exactly. And a lot of times a plumber will come out, they'll just do it for a free assessment. Or if you don't have an inspector come out, however you want to do it, just have somebody to come out and do evaluation for you.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, I know that's a lot, you guys. But the good news is you can come and meet Jeff and I at our happy hours in December to talk about this in person. You can ask all kinds of questions, anything home and inspection related, or winterizing your home. See you then.